We are a final group. First, thanks for joining our presentation. Let me introduce my group member. From left to right are Ivan, Zona, Zoe, and I'm Abby. Today our main topic is the history of Taiwan. But before going to our presentation, let me show you a video. Taiwan will touch your heart.
Colorful, come taste the best. The people so friendly. It will be the most amazing journey for your heart to feel and see. La Formosa, Taiwan will touch your heart. La Formosa, Taiwan will touch your heart. Come taste the best. The people so friendly. It will be the most amazing journey for your heart to feel and see. La Formosa, Taiwan will touch your heart. La Formosa, Taiwan will touch your heart.
Video about the Pretty Island. Let me introduce the history of the Pretty Island. The history of Taiwan can be traced back to at least 7,000 years ago. Between 7,000 and 400 years ago, Austronesians, the ancestor of the island's indigenous people, arrived in small groups and became the earliest known inhabitant of Taiwan. First, prehistory. Paleolithic culture. The oldest evidence of human presence on Taiwan consists of 3 cranial fragments and a molar tooth found in Zuozhen district in Tainan. These are estimated to be between 20,000 and 13,000 years old. Vocabulary. Cranial. The bones of the head, which surround the brain and give the head its shape. Fragment. A small piece or a part, especially when broken from something whole. Paleolithic culture. The oldest artifact or chippy pebble tool of a Paleolithic culture found in Fort Cave in Changbin in Taidong that 15,000 to 5,000 years ago, and similar to contemporary site in Fujian. The same culture is found at site at Awambi on the southern tip of Taiwan, persisting until 5,000 years ago. Vocabulary. Artifact. An object that is made by a person, such as a tool or a decoration, especially one that is of historical interest. Paleolithic culture. Next, Neolithic culture. Around 3000 BC, the Neolithic Dabenkan culture, named after a site in Taipei County, abruptly appeared and quickly spread around the coast of the island. Their sites are characterized by coldy ware pottery, polished stone eggs, and slate point. The inhabitants cultivated rice and millet, but were also heavily reliant on marine shell and fish. Vocabulary. Abruptly describes something that is sudden and unexpected, and often unpleasant. Axe. A tool which is used for cutting and shaping wood. Neolithic culture photo. This is the end of my part. Next, welcome Ivan.
Okay, I will report the Dutch Formosa. In the first half of the 17th century, the Dutch established a presence at Ampi, in modern-day Tainan City. They conducted missionary activities, trade, and the production of various goods. They also recruited many Han Chinese immigrants from the China coast, leading to a multicultural history of Taiwan. The number of Han Chinese immigrants in Taiwan steadily increased during the short-lived Chen regime and Qing period over the next 200 years, creating a primarily Han society in Taiwan. And vocabulary. Presence. The fact of being in particular place. Recruit. To find new people to join a company, an organization, the armed forces, and so forth. Primarily. It means mainly. And the Dutch East India Company attempted to establish a trading outpost on the Penghu Island in 1622, but were militarily defeated and driven off by the Ming authorities. In 1624, the company established a stronghold called Fort Zeelandia on the coastal island of Dayuan, which is now part of the main island at Ampi, Tainan. David Wright, a Scottish agent of the company who lived on the island in the 1650s, described the lowland areas of the island as being divided among 11 chieftains, ranging in size from 2 settlements to 72. Some of these fell under Dutch control, while others remained independent. The company began to import laborers from Fujian and Penghu, many of whom settled. And vocabulary, Scottish, of or connected with Scotland or its people. Chieftain, it means most important. And next I will report Spanish Formosa. In 1626, the Spanish landed on and occupied northern Taiwan at the ports of Keelung and Danshui as a base to extend their trading. This colonial period lasted 60 years until 1642, when the last Spanish fortress fell to Dutch forces. Following the fall of the Ming dynasty, 国姓也 he is 郑成功 a self-styled mean loyalist arrived on the island and captured Fort Zealandia in 1662, expelling the Dutch government and military from the island. Vocabulary: fortress, a building or place that has been made stronger and protected against attack. Dynasty, a period of years during which members of a particular family rule a country. Expel, to force somebody to leave a country. And this is Zealandia, 乐兰遮城 and after the 安平 fort, 安平古堡. And this is Provincia, 以普罗民遮城 and after 赤坎 tower, 赤坎楼. And this is San Domingo, 圣多明格城 and after 红毛城 is 红毛城. And this is my report. And next we will Zona.
Okay, I will introduce Japanese rule. Taiwan became a colony of Japan. In the late 9th century, the wave of imperialism touched the shores of Taiwan. The island became a colony of Japan and remained under Japanese rule for 50 years, during which time it evolved from a traditional society into a modern society. At the end of World War II in 1945, Taiwan was liberated from colonial rule. Since then, the island has experienced an economic miracle and produced political democracy achievements that have attracted the world's attention. Vocabulary: imperialism, colony, liberty. Okay. Treaty of Shimonoseki Treaty of April 17, 1895, ended the First Sino-Japanese War. It was negotiated and signed by Ito Hirobumi for Japan and Li Huangzhang for China. Harsh terms were imposed on a badly defeated China. The treaty provided for the end of Chinese suzerainty over Korea, giving Korea independence, and for the cession to Japan of Taiwan. The Pescadores Islands and Port Arthur and the London Peninsula. Japan also imposed a large indemnity and forced China to open 5 new treaty ports a week after the treaty was signed. However, Russia, France, and Germany together in the so-called Triple Intervention demanded that Japan renounce claim to Port Arthur and the London Peninsula. Japan reluctantly agreed, but China was forced to pay an additional indemnity. Vocabulary: Sino-Japanese War, suzerainty, cession, renounce. Next.
Today, Taiwan boasts an excellent infrastructure, convenient transportation system, and high-quality communication services. It also has accomplished, in the face of several international energy crises and economic downturns, a remarkable record of economic development and political democracy by virtue of the perseverance and the unremitting efforts of its people. And those are the vocabularies. Okay, according to the contents above mentioned, here is some information about revitalizing Taiwan's economy. ROC consumer vouchers released in 2009 is one of the prescription for the economy. The Republic of China consumer vouchers was part of an economic stimulus package held by the government of the Republic of China. The distribution of the vouchers to every ROC citizen born before March 31st, 2009, and some foreign residents, i.e. spouses of citizens, began on January 18, 2009. The purpose of these vouchers was to combat the economic downturn in the country, mainly due to the global financial crisis, which began in 2007. According to government officials, the vouchers had to be picked up before April 30, 2009, had to be used before September 30, 2009, and could not be deposited into bank accounts. The overall amount distributed in the form of consumer vouchers was 85.8 billion new Taiwan dollars, roughly around 2.75 billion US dollars. Each recipient was entitled to 3,600 NT dollars, around 115 US dollars. The day the vouchers were distributed, around 91% of the vouchers were picked up during the first phase of the distribution. These vouchers could be used to purchase just about any item in Taiwan. However, there were a few notable restrictions. They could not be used to buy lottery tickets or stored value merchandise, such as prepaid cards. Based on the premise of a multiplier effect in economics, the ROC government estimates a growth of 0.66% to 1% in GDP as a result of the increase in domestic demand from the circulation of these vouchers. And here is some question for you. First, what is the Neolithic culture mean in Chinese?
Example, the 大峦坑 is Neolithic culture, and Yuanshan also the Neolithic culture.
And second question, where did the Dutch establish a presence at? Where did the Dutch establish a presence?
Taiwan.
And the third question, who signed the Treaty of Shimonoseki with us? And the last question, which year did the ROC consumer